I'm Jeff Turcotte.
Kelly Kurtz.
Husband and wife team, we're realtors, but we're different. And we've been putting together these seminars for folks on different topics. You typically are downstairs in a much bigger room where we will be next month.
We had to turn away some people today just because there wasn't space. So that's a good sign. But it's nice. We appreciate all of you coming.
So today's topic, stepping confidently, fall prevention and safety for seniors. And we have a couple of wonderful guests, Wendy and Nina, here, and we'll introduce them in a minute.
Yep.
So again, our business, Simply Well Seniors. You've probably seen Kelly's car out and about. We've really focused our business on helping seniors navigate the journey to the next place they call home, from clean out to closing. And we worked with a client recently. We finally got an offer accepted. Actually, not finally, but she accepted an offer for her home that she's lived in for over 40 years. She accepted the offer yesterday, and we did a little victory lap.
Wow.
The next thing is to get her moved into
We wanted
the next
confetti,
place.
but we didn't want to have to clean it up. So we pretended it was confetti, but she's thrilled. But it was a journey for her.
It was a journey from a new septic to, painting.
Radon system that she didn't know she needed. All kinds of stuff happened in her house that we helped her through the process. So
Wow.
that's the rewarding thing. When last night we could say, here's the offer, and about $30,000 over her asking price.
Oh, very
And
nice.
she just was flabbergasted, didn't even think it would sell. She was so afraid that it wasn't going to sell.
She had tears in her
less than a
eyes.
week.
We
Yeah.
kind of let it all sink in, and
Yeah.
she thought her house was going to be on the market for 3 months.
Right. Her daughter was on the Zoom call, so she heard the whole thing, and she's like, take the offer. It's like, I don't know, I should think about it. She's like, sign the paper. Yeah. So it was really nice and rewarding last night.
Yeah, so that was a lot of work, but I'm going to skip through this.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about falls, and the statistics show that among causes of death, leading to causes of death, unintentional injury is number 7, and the top reason for an unintentional injury is falls. So
How many people just out of the blue have fallen here? I know I have. I just fell in May. Okay. Yeah. You don't, and Jeff too. I mean, 2 broken ankles from falls.
not at the same
Not at the same
time.
time.
I
No.
said, what'd you do there?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wayne-
I fell off a step ladder in May while staging a house, and on my dominant left hand for almost 2 months, and it's still bothering me. Awful. So you think everything's fine. You're just doing a little thing you always do, and all of a sudden you're down. So it's a
Right.
big topic.
Yeah. So fewer older adults speak to someone about medications and fall risks, and when they're meeting with their primary care person or during an appointment, and 82% don't say anything.
It's tough.
They just don't have that conversation. 15% do talk to a doctor. Another 8% talk to some kind of healthcare provider, and even fewer people talk to their family or their caregivers or other people about how the medications that they're on and the environment that they're living in, how that might add to a fall or have a risk of a fall.
And a lot of people won't bring it up because they feel like it's got a stigma around it. If you fall, then all of a sudden maybe your adult child or your family member is going to say, you can't live alone, now you can't do this, or you feel like you're going to get in trouble or get put, restrictions on you because you fell. But we all know that it can happen just accidentally, and doesn't mean it's going to keep happening, but it's a taboo kind of topic a lot of times.
Yeah. When we all know that some consequences of falls among older adults, and including me, that over 95% of falls result in a hip fracture. Sometimes, no, the other way around. More than 95% of hip fractures are due to falls. That's what it is. Falls are the leading cause of traumatic brain injuries. I actually, a gentleman I worked with for quite a number of years, that's how his father, he was coming out of a restaurant and misjudged the curb, where step off the curb to get to the car, and he fell and he hit his head.
And that ties into your medication too, because a lot of folks are on blood thinners, and you don't realize that just a little clunk can
Yeah.
cause some damage.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Absolutely. And then there's the pharmacology. If you're taking a number of different medications, some of the reactions with each other can cause a little lightheadedness or just something that might add to potential for falling.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that's some statistics about that. So you like to reveal? That
is very spectacular. Yeah, it really was.
So I'm going to ask, and if anybody can pronounce Nina's last name, you can have the first pass of the chocolate dish. Anyone want to take a stab at it?
Come on, I said it a couple of minutes ago. I said it about 4 times.
Rajewski.
It's Rajewski. Do not
I was
pronounce
close.
any letters that are there. Put a J in. It's a name I married and I have kept for, I think we're 36 years now. Rajewski.
So Nina is a physical therapy assistant. She has worked at Burbank Hospital. She worked at Knollwood Nursing Home. She's done home care services, and she's currently working at Summit Elder Care for the last 11 years or so.
11 years, yes.
That's where Nina and I met. We fell in love instantly when we
So true.
first
Yes.
connected, and super knowledgeable about falls and all kinds of things physical therapy. So we're thrilled to have her here. Jeff will do the slide for Wendy.
Oh, sorry. Going backwards here.
Go backwards. So we'll see it again. Nina's
Yay.
curtain call. There you go. Okay.
Ta-da.
And Wendy Williams. So we reached out to
right.
Wendy.
Found her through the YMCA in Leominster, but she's at
Yes.
Leominster and Fitchburg. She is a silver sneakers instructor, which some of you, all of you may have heard of that. She's going to talk a little more about that, plus a 200-hour certified yoga Alliance certified instructor and a personal trainer, among other things. But these two ladies have a wealth of knowledge in working with seniors and all kinds of things related to keep you strong and fit and healthy and prevent falls. So we're happy to have them here today to share some information. They both have provided handouts, which you have on your table, which is excellent. If you can take that home and read about it, and they're going to talk a little bit more about it. We have some questions for them, but it's an informal kind of casual setting today, as you can see. So we're hoping to gather a lot of information and bring you home with some knowledge to keep you safe.
Right. So we'll start with some questions. We did prepare some questions.
Yeah.
And we
So
kind of start
I
the
guess, Nina,
conversation.
we could start with you in terms of what kinds of exercises are the most important in preventing falls. If you're looking at people who are here that are healthy, that are thinking, I may have fallen in the past or I may not have, but what can I do today to keep myself strong to prevent?
So really, the key is really motion is lotion, right? So if you're moving, you're in motion, you're going to stay in motion. 2 things, strength and balance, are basically what we'll really want you to work on if you can. If you can keep your strength up and your balance, then you're probably going to be in pretty good shape. We work a little bit about mobility as far as your stretching goes, which Wendy, I'm sure will talk a little bit about. But one of the big things is your ankle motion. So if you have good ankle motion, that's going to help you with your steps. And really just keep yourself moving. In your handout, there's a couple of groups of exercises that we work on. One of the easy exercises that we do a lot at Summit Elder Care is we work on just that sit to stand. It encompasses a lot of your leg motion, a lot of your leg strength. Use it with 2 hands, 1 hand, and then no hands. And then there's a couple of exercises to work on your balance. So standing normal. Can you stand just regular, hanging on with 1 hand, hanging on with no hands? Can you stand semi-tandem, which is your feet like this? 2 hands, right? I don't know if you can see my feet, but your feet are here, right? No hands, 1 hand, or do you need 2 hands? And then work up to trying to do that without any hands, working on your balance. And then tandem, 1 foot in front of the other this way. Just trying to keep your balance, and that will help when you're in motion. So really just, stretching, strengthening, and balance.
And I believe you have those exercises
That's
in the
correct.
folder.
They're
so
in
you
the
can
folder.
take a look at that.
Yep.
But those are all good tips, and they seem pretty simple. But
Right.
like Nina said, if hanging on, if you do it those exercises at your
just-
counter
yep,
or
at the
with the
sink.
chair?
Or at the sink. Well,
Right.
Typically we tell folks to stand at the sink because you can hang
You got that
on.
lip.
You have the hang on to the lip of the sink. So
Yep.
most of the folks that we instruct at the summit will say stand at your sink to try
Yeah.
to do them because you can hang on to the lip of the sink.
Right. You don't want to
And-
say, let's do it in the
yeah.
living room
Yes, correct.
around nothing and try it
Correct.
today for the first time without having
And
something to
really,
hang on to.
another key: wear your shoes. Please, please, please wear your shoes. And good footwear is really important. Wear your shoes.
Speaking about footwear, do you want to talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that next, about what you recommend and what people should be
Sure.
looking
Yes.
for in footwear?
So very important. Wear your shoes all the time. Nightmares. Don't be in your stocking feet. Horrible. The hair on the back of my neck just stood up. Horrible, horrible. Wear your footwear all the time. A good tie shoe, a good tie sneaker. I know we want to be in our, strappy summer sandals, but probably not the best. And I'm going to include myself when I say at our age, because I'm going to be 66 on my next birthday. And, in about almost a year ago, I had my hip replaced. And in under 5 months, I was back to working full time. So wearing my Skechers sneakers all the time. So wear your shoes. So, best support. And really having, talking to your doctor. We talked about having your doctor look at your feet, and they probably do now. A lot of the docs will look at your feet, but footwear is very important. And we have folks that deal a lot with just shoes. So if you're having trouble, there are podorthists out there that will help you with your footwear if you need to have footwear. But a good tie sneaker, a Velcro sneaker if you have trouble with tying, best bet. But wear your shoes.
What's your thought on, there's a lot of new slip-on kind of Skechers that you don't have to tie,
Yeah.
depending on the support. Do you
Yeah, I think
support
it's
those?
okay. I think it's okay as long
Okay.
as you have something on your feet.
Yep.
Is better than
Okay.
nothing. Yeah. And there's a lot of things out there. If you have trouble with tie, there's elastic shoelaces that you can
Right.
do that you don't have to if you have trouble with your dexterity or whatever. A lot of other things. As long as you're wearing your shoes, wear your shoes.
We do
Please,
have a
please,
funny
please.
story, and you'll remember when I start
Yeah.
to say it, of with people that have diabetes, a lot of times they don't have that sensation in their shoe. And when we were working at Summit, someone kept saying their shoe was bothering them. And finally, they took the shoe off to find there was a cat toy all stuck in their
Honest to
shoe.
God.
But because their sensation was so poor in their foot,
Right.
they didn't
They
even
didn't
realize
know.
it. And we were
They
like,
didn't know.
oh my gosh, no wonder their foot hurts. There's a plastic little thing with a rattle in it in their
And
shoe.
their shoe.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, those are things that you're like, how could that even happen? But it,
But it
does,
does.
and we see it.
Yeah.
And then based on the dexterity, like you're saying, as my role back when I worked with Nina was as an occupational therapist. So another reason to keep your hands strong. Arthritis can be troublesome, so sometimes you don't have the ability to tie the shoe. So like she's saying, elastic lace, maybe looking at some slip-ins or some Velcro, but also keeping your hands strong and your grip strength, because should you need down the road a cane or a walker or some assistive device for walking, if you don't have that good dexterity in your hand, or even to grab a railing going up and down a step or a stair, you might be more high risk for falls because you can't get that good grip to support yourself. So kind of a whole body of taking care of yourself is really important
Right.
for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now we'll just segue into, if you don't mind, we'll
Sure.
segue into if you have a device that you have to use, a cane or a walker, use it. Even if you're in the house,
Yeah.
use your device. That will help you. If you've been issued a cane or a walker from either your physician or your physical therapist, then if you need it, use it. And if you're walking around the house and you're grabbing onto furniture, maybe you need to have a device. So
Yeah.
that might be, something to consider talking to your healthcare provider about.
Yeah, because we do see a lot of furniture walking folks. And it's always a perfect storm. Oh, I just had to go to the bathroom quick, so I didn't put my shoes on, and my cane was in the living room. So this is when the fall happens. And a lot of times it's when they're home alone and something happens. So it's always hindsight. You say, I should have done this, this, and this. But we all know things happen. But yeah, maybe Wendy, we'll switch gears a little bit to you to talk a little bit about the the Silver Sneakers program and what you see in terms of the seniors that are coming, and tell us a little bit about that program.
Okay. Well, Silver Sneakers has been in existence for about 30 years, and I started training with them way back in the beginning. They've started under the umbrella of Healthways, and now they're under Tivity Healthcare. Are there any Silver Sneakers members in here? Oh, great. Silver Sneakers, for those of you who are not, bless you, who are not real familiar, is something available through your health care if they carry it. And I made notes of who, let me make sure I have it, because not all healthcare companies, or health insurance companies, I should say, participate. The ones locally are Aetna, Fallon Health, Humana, Tufts Health Plan, WellCare, and WellSense Health Plan. I had moved to Clinton from the North Shore about 7 years ago, and there was no Silver Sneakers available in that particular area, and it blew me away. Silver Sneakers, among other programs for aging folks like us, is just so important because, number one, it keeps us moving. We follow up with a lot of what Nina does in physical therapy, and also what Kelly does with occupational therapy. We do a lot of exercises, standing and seated. We deal with a lot of balance exercises. I will do a lot of walking in tandem. Nina had just presented that a few minutes ago. I'll call it the Monday morning or Tuesday morning sobriety walk, where you stand and you're walking one foot in front of the other, and maybe you have a little bit of balance on the side, maybe you don't, but just things to practice. And I will also just premise that inevitably we're going to fall. It's not a matter of if, but good chance we're all going to fall at some point. And so one of my big objectives is to get rid of the fear of falling. Fear is a big part of it. We tense up, we worry, we see something and, oh my gosh, am I going to make it? Am I going to fall on my face? Can I get there in one piece? And all of that stress and tension adds to the accessibility of falling. And so there's a lot involved. I will do chair yoga programs to help kind of decompress and de-stress, and hopefully have people leaving thinking, okay, I'm ready to deal with whatever I have to deal with, whether it's walking and staying up on 2 feet or going on to my next event. We do a lot of socializing as well. Silver Sneakers is just a great program because, number one, we want to keep moving, we want to keep upright, but we also want a life. And so people who come are very involved with the people around. We become a community, and people really, really have each other's backs, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful.
Great.
So that was one of the questions I had about what's a typical class look like? What's the length and
So great question. There are a number of different Silver Sneakers classes. Right now, I am the only Silver Sneakers certified instructor in Leominster. I have a partner over in Fitchburg. So there are a limited number of Silver Sneakers classes currently. What I lead is a couple. One is the basic class that deals with some cardio work, just very low impact, working to get our heart rate up a little bit and improving our heart strength. I'll do power moves, resistance with hand weights. Sometimes we use elastic tubes, but just something to keep our bones strong and our muscles strong. And then we'll also do some balance, and we use equipment, including hand weights, as I say, a Silver Sneakers ball, which is basically a 6-inch ball that will work between our thighs, we'll work with our hands, do all kinds of fun things with that. And then an elastic tube for resistance work as well.
Now, if someone, if that was a little too advanced for some people who are just starting, do you offer modifications for folks?
I do. I make it very accessible to everyone. So there's always a chair for everyone who comes in to participate. I will go back and forth and alternate between sitting exercises and standing exercises. And I will also remind people that if this is the day you need to stay seated for the full 45 minutes or hour, you stay seated. There is no judgment. There is no pressure. I make it fun. I play great music. I tell jokes at the end of class, and I just try to keep it fresh so people keep coming. And people keep coming. And it's really cool. And often on a Tuesday morning, I will fill up my class and once in a while have to send people away because we only have room for so many.
That's way better than physical
and
therapy.
that's, well, I don't think it's better, but I think it's a
way
nice
better.
addition. And the cool thing is, Nina, I do get people who come into class who have just come from physical therapy saying, I don't have to go to physical therapy anymore because this is what I'm doing here. Not to take away from you,
absolutely.
but we're a great follow-up. And I want to see people coming to my basic class and then my advanced class move on to not have to come to my classes anymore unless they want to and go out and do all kinds of great things. So
And
that's
you
my...
said the insurance companies that you read off.
Yes.
So they cover the cost of it, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As long as an insurance company has Silver Sneakers as part of their program, what that allows you, number one, is a free free membership to any facility that offers Silver Sneakers programming. It would be their base membership. So if it's one where they have tiered members based on what they have to offer, you would get their base. It doesn't mean you're obligated to take their classes, the Silver Sneakers classes, but the premise is to get you in a health facility where you can start moving and doing things. And the classes are just fun. They really are.
And I think, like you mentioned, you both mentioned a little bit about socialization. Once you're in the gym or in that environment, you start to get a little more motivated and you feel a little more energized because you're seeing other folks you can relate to and wanting to do to stay active, and it becomes something you look forward to every week as opposed to, oh, I got to go to the gym. And we've all had that, like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, but I should go.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this sounds really fun.
Yeah, it is. And people really do support each other. And I'll just add this. We have, unfortunately, 2 members, one with a brain tumor who is currently going through chemotherapy, another with, I think, pancreatic cancer. So we're sending messages, we send them pictures. We're just, I mean, this is the kind of cohesive group we are. And new members coming in are always so welcomed. And people maintain their membership because it is this kind of socialization and this kind of group. It's,
I think Sandy had a question.
Do you just meet once a week? Or?
my classes in Leominster are Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. I have a 9:15 to 10:15, Tuesday and Thursday, and then Tuesdays I also lead 10:30 to 11:20. There are other classes that are great for active agers, but they cannot be called Silver Sneakers because the woman who is leading them is not certified through Silver Sneakers.
Okay.
She is certified through other agencies. So we call them active aging classes. But they're all meant to be low impact and very accessible and just really good. You know, if for Silver Sneakers, you do have to be 65 in order to get their benefits. However, you don't have to be a Silver Sneakers member to participate in the classes. Anyone can come in.
Okay. And so now, Nina, back to you. If for folks that maybe aren't ready to go to one of these programs or aren't able to just yet, what are some ways that they could modify their home to be free from falls or safe from falls? Or do you have any suggestions you can offer to folks?
Right. So essentially what we recommend for folks to do is really, and right up your alley, is to really declutter. So take anything that might be a tripping hazard.
Like the extension
Like
cord
that-
that's on, I'm
that's
standing
correct,
on.
like that
Okay.
extension
Falls over.
cord that I'm looking at. Any cords that might be in your path that you're walking. So, or any path that you're walking. So if you tend to keep things on your stairs, magazines, mail, things that are on your floor that is in your path, get it up, have your family members take them away. So, extension cords, any kind of throw rugs, get those up. Install grab bars around the shower, around the toilet if you need assistance to get in and out. Non-skid mats around the tub, around the shower. Let's see.
I think
My mind's-
lighting is another one that's
yes,
really important.
huge.
That's
Absolutely.
correct. Yep.
Yeah, especially
lighting
night
is very-
lighting for the
yep.
bathroom,
Yeah.
maybe
Yep.
by the bed, sometimes even a lamp
Yep.
that you can
Night
do a touch
light.
lamp
Yeah.
instead
Yep.
of trying to fumble
Things
for
that go on, sometimes motion. If you don't
Motion
like it,
sensor.
if you don't like it
Yeah, right.
on when you're sleeping, something that might go on when you get out of bed that will turn on, or it will go in the hallway when you get up to move. Very important.
Yep.
Any like repair things that if you notice that a railing is loose or stairs, not that you would do it yourself, but a family member or whatever could help you with anything that's boards that are loose or any concrete or stuff that outside, handrails on railings, that makes it easier to come up and down for you. That type of big repairs that need to be done, that's very important. There is a handout in your packet that has all kinds of suggestions in there as well.
Perfect.
Yep.
I'm just going to interject. Also,
Yes.
the Silver Sneakers Fall Prevention, the double-sided, is also a checklist
Yes.
of everything
Yep.
you just said, just things to be aware of and look for that may help to prevent.
I'm a great one for putting my sneakers on the stairs. I'll get to them.
Your sneakers should be on your feet,
Yeah,
Jeff.
they should.
I know sometimes coming in with groceries and things or cases of water, sometimes those get left by the door, and you might be looking ahead and not seeing that on the floor. So those are things sometimes. We had some friends, clients, friends who were. The woman was doing a sewing project with her granddaughter and set up the sewing machine on the dining room table. And they were busy. Everyone was running around. She just went to come on the dining room, tripped over it, fell and fractured her ribs. So, something just so random that we're all in a hurry and we're trying to get to the next thing. So
Right.
sometimes it's hard. You think, oh, I know it's there. I just plugged in the sewing machine. Why would I trip over that? But then all of a sudden
Right.
it's like, oh my gosh, the sewing machine. So you never know. And none of us are immune from it, which is really interesting because it can happen at any moment.
That's right.
And you think
That's
falls
true.
are just for old people, and they're not. For everybody. Yes.
I only fall and break a leg on odd years.
Odd years.
2019, 2020.
And only when we have a vacation plan. And in the winter.
But you're in good hands.
Yes, I am.
I'm trying to think if there's any real other specific questions or something that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about, or if someone has a question or a scenario they'd like to ask these ladies, because they're a wealth of information, knowledge that they have.
I know this format's a little bit different than what we're usually in. I'm watching the temperature, and when it gets to 81, we're calling this.
I think they should have thrown in the ice cream truck.
Yeah, we should, right.
Consolation.
Yeah.
But apparently there's no ice cream on it, so we couldn't have that. But
Right.
yeah, it is hot.
But does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask?
Or situations at home or scenarios that you want to talk about.
Okay, I got a funny.
Okay.
Yesterday or the day before, I went in my garden and I had a lot of butternut squash. And so in order to pick it, you have to cut the edge of it. And some of them were pretty tough. And I was bending over and clipping one. And pretty soon I saw that the earth was coming closer.
So
And I
there,
went,
that is.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And I
no.
just I rolled with it. I did hurt my shoulder some, but not too bad. The other problem is I cannot
can't
get
get
up
up.
from
Right.
a knee position.
Yeah.
So I crawled over to the edge of the garden where there was a post, and I got up. But I would like to somehow learn how to get up from
Yes.
hands and knees.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you did right by getting yourself over to
Yeah,
something.
you sure
Yep,
did.
yep,
And I talk
yep.
about triceps a lot, which
Yeah.
I have affectionately renamed. I have fallen and I'm getting my butt off the floor muscles. These are the muscles that will help get you up if you're down, excuse me. Down on hands and knees, for example. It's like, oh no, now what do I do? And hopefully, like you did, you were able to crawl to something,
Something.
find something that's sturdy enough,
Right.
a tree, something.
An ottoman,
That,
a couch,
anything
if
depending
you're in
on
the
where
house,
you are.
wherever
And
you are.
then you work from here. The arms help lift you up. One foot comes up, then the other, and
Yeah.
so there are ways, and coming down trying to roll was smart because there are ways you can fall back. And,
I was
Yeah.
going, but
Yep.
it was
Yeah.
nothing like it was.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about sort of that, any change in position that, so number one, sort of bending over probably wasn't your best position to be in. You might have been better off getting down on one knee or sitting down, but
Right.
that bent
One of
over
those
position
seats.
probably wasn't your best bet. So what could cause that? So many things. Could
Right.
it be some medication that you're on, positional factors? But a lot of times, I'm going to recommend to you that any change in position may cause you to be a little woozy. So it can raise a little havoc in your blood pressure a little bit. There is a handout in your thing that's going to talk about this. It may be a little bit more in depth than you need to know. But from my standpoint, if you're lying down and you're going to sit over the edge of the bed or over the couch, sit for a second. Make sure the cobwebs have cleared. Don't stand right up, because if you change your position quickly, you may be a little bit woozy, and that can contribute to the next step, which may be you being on the floor.
Right.
So take that nanosecond and think, am I woozy? Am I, because if you are, sit for a second. Same thing if you're sitting and you're going to come to standing. So whether you use a device or not, I'm going to come to standing and I'm going to stand for a second. Well, I'm not dizzy, so I'm going to proceed on. But if you are, take a second, let the cobwebs
Right.
clear. Think about where you are in space, right? Do I feel a little sloshy? Because if I do, I want to stand here for a nanosecond. Give yourself that second. Again, could be just your blood pressure, could be from your medication, could be a multitude of factors that might cause you to be a little sloshy. Don't go right off, because if you go right off and you're feeling a little woozy, you could be next step on the floor. So take that second, all right?
Yeah, I think
That's worth
oftentimes
it.
too, we're so, like, you might be trying to cut your squash, but as soon as I get the squash, I got to go do this, put the laundry in the
Right.
dryer. And you're thinking like 3 steps ahead of where you are. So you're just
Right.
rushing it. And you don't even realize you're rushing it, but you're just thinking.
Yeah.
I think of it a lot when I'm carrying the laundry down to the basement. And I'm like, I got to change the cat litter, or I've got to do something else when I'm down there, or I got to remember to bring the hamburger out of the freezer. So I'm not really paying attention to the stairs or to the laundry, or that my sleeve is going to get caught on the railing going down or something. So I think a lot of it is just slowing down, and we're all
Yes.
guilty of it because we're just all trying to do a million
Right.
things.
Multitasking
Yeah.
is not what it's cracked up to be.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not a heroic
No, there is
quality
nothing
anymore.
heroic.
I used to think, I can do everything at once, but then
Right.
you can't. But I do think if you have concerns about trying to get up, a couple visits with a physical therapist is always a good idea to learn some of these strategies. If it's part of your healthcare program, usually your doctor will let you have a few visits, and the PT can set up a program.
Right.
I know there's other private, PT place at the bottom on Central Street and
Yep,
Grant Street there. They do
Joint venture?
Joint Ventures, physical therapy. They really specialize in doing a couple of visits, private pay for people to learn some strategies like that. And it might not be a bad idea to just go learn you specifically. They'll get on the floor with you and have you practice getting up 3 or 4
And we
times.
do that. We'll get you on the floor.
does that,
and,
yep.
Train you how to get up.
Yep.
And sometimes after a fall, and it may not be a huge injury, but sometimes a half a step back is worth 10 steps forward. So, after a fall with not a major injury, but you might need a little device, a cane or something to build back your confidence and build back your strength until you get back on your feet again, no pun intended, and then go from there. So whatever your needs are for that moment in time are your needs for that moment in time, and then you just work forward from that. But that point being, get in touch with your healthcare provider and see what your needs are at that moment. So if you've had a fall or an injury, tell somebody that has occurred. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if a person's thinking about getting a cane, just like in the house, do you recommend going through your primary care to help you get the proper one? Or
So
should you
yes,
get
I would
one
say
you want?
yes, because so you're thinking about getting a cane for what reason? Are you, so what
Actually, it's
are the issues, right? So,
Uncle Wally.
Right.
The apartment, like, he had a fall, and he's still recovering, but at nighttime, when he's walking around, he's finding he's having to hold on to the walls.
right, so.
So we're thinking about getting a cane for that.
So I would say, yes, you may want to go through the healthcare provider because at that point, right, so do they need to have physical therapy? Do they need to be evaluated for other issues? And then there would be some instructions. Is the cane adjusted properly? What is the proper sequence for walking? Is there an injury to one leg? What hand do you hold it in? How do you go up and down stairs? So there's a lot of instructions that
Yeah.
would need to be given on how to use it. You don't think so with a cane, but is it adjusted properly? Is it, is there injury to one leg? That would determine what hand you hold it in.
Yeah.
You
We
know.
would see a lot of times someone deciding they need a walker, and then the daughter or son or somebody would go, "Oh, Mom, I got you this one. It has wheels and it has a seat." And they're like, "This is the best
Yes.
walker we can have." But sometimes that's the worst walker
worst,
because
right,
they go
right.
flying.
Yes.
People go to sit down, they turn around, that thing slides
So,
out, they fall
right.
because of that. Whereas if they worked with a PT,
Right.
got the right assessment, which walker,
How do you
which
sit?
cane,
Where
how
do
to
the
use
hands
it.
go?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of safety issues
Yeah.
that would need education, right? So it would be
CVS
best.
has them, Walmart has them, so you think, oh, I can just
Yeah.
go buy a cane.
Right.
But you're right, the education piece is
So
really the key
important.
component that's missing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions? Or go ahead, Maggie.
I saw in here there's some references to Tai Chi. Do you
Right,
know
just
of any
another-
places around here that offer?
Oh, I don't.
Used to
I
have a
don't-
great gal
I
that did Tai
know,
Chi,
there
but she's
was.
been retired for years now.
Yeah, I don't
I
off the
don't
top of
know
my head.
either.
Yeah.
Silver Sneakers offers a program called Energy that I will incorporate into my classes, and it is Tai Chi and Qigong inspired, but it's Silver Sneakers, so it's super accessible to anyone, seated, standing, or otherwise. But it's not a designated class right now, as I say, incorporate it. And I don't know offhand. I'm sure
I
there
don't
is
know.
something.
Yeah, I wonder
there
if we
has to
could just
be.
Google and see if
But
any
yeah,
a
yeah,
local
if you-
town. I don't know in Leominster or Fitchburg, but I don't know.
I don't
if,
off the
like,
top of my
Yeah,
head.
some of the other senior centers
Yeah.
could have offerings.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have seen. I think in Clinton they offer Tai Chi at the senior center, and yeah, I have a feeling senior centers would probably be
Yeah.
a good
Maybe
place to
Brian.
start.
When I first retired, and it was at the senior center,
Mhm.
but it was very informal. They just put a video up and said,
Oh.
one of the members. And it was like,
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing. You
Oh.
gotta follow
Right.
it."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It felt- it made you feel like we've done this before.
Oh, that's
Oh,
not
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Kind of takes away the
I took a
objective
class
of going.
when I was working. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it
Wonderful.
is.
Yes.
Yes, it really is.
And you're balanced.
Yes, I'd like to
Yeah.
get back to
Correct.
it myself, but
Mm.
yeah.
Well, it's 81 degrees.
I guess
Oh,
that means
Jeff's
it's
pulling the
time.
plug.
I think we got a good discussion going. So
I
if
do.
anyone has
I
any
know-
more
I know we do. I mean,
comments or questions, I think we're open to it. Certainly, they can find Wendy at the Y and Nina through Summit Elder Care.
Summit Elder Care.
Which is a great program. We've had a program. We talked, anyone that came to the program that Donna Farrow was part of. She was a social worker. And we always remember her story of being in the bathtub and dislocating her hip. She was a riot, but she works at Summit as well. So Summit is a fabulous program. If anyone's interested in the things that they offer, it's right down the street, and it is very comprehensive. So
We're under the umbrella of Fallon Health. So we're an adult day health program. So we help folks, age in place. Basically, we try to keep you in your home and try to keep you there as best we can.
Take Fallon?
It's under the Fallon, yes, and Fallon umbrella, yes.
yeah.
Yes, and so the site where I am is the Leominster site, which is down by the movie theater. And so it's an adult day program, but you don't have to come to the site to be part of it. But it's great. But it's It offers, healthcare provider. We have occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. Nurses and the physicians are there, and it's great. Yeah.
Good. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add or question? Okay. So next month, we will be downstairs. We will.
Yes.
And next month, so rather than it being the second Tuesday, it's going to be the third Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Actually, Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
Apologize. Because Kelly and I are actually going back to the conference that we went to last year, with the senior certified senior housing professional folks that we got certified with. So this conference is what we've been told. It's been sold out. It's going to be a great week of information. So we're going to come back really jazzed up.
Might not be able to handle the excitement.
There's so much excitement going on. So
it'll be
that's on the 16th.
Yeah.
And in November, we're going to be talking about caregiving and embracing the caregivers.
Yeah.
And those
We think we're
folks.
going to
Yes.
wrap up the year in November instead of having a December program, just because December is such a busy month. So we're going to try for these next two, and that will have completed our first year. We're trying to figure out our plans for next year, if we want to continue to do the monthly seminars here down in the community room, or Jeff and I were just lucky enough to do one at the Groton Senior Center about 2 weeks ago now, and we had 66 folks that joined us.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
it was really nice to see a really large, vibrant
Yeah.
crowd. So we're thinking maybe moving to our groups to the senior centers where we're going to get a few more folks. But and certainly we would open that up to anyone else that would like to come
Yes.
if we do choose to go to a different location.
Right.
But we do appreciate everybody that's supported us and given us the time to come, because I know it's a lot to get out and come here, but it's we appreciate, we have guests that have a lot of great information to share, and it's nice to have some folks to share it to
Right.
and with.
Tell your friends.
And tell your friends, yes.
All right.
So thank you so
So
much.
thank you.
Please
We'll
grab
cut
the
you
water
loose.
and candy. Make sure you take your handouts. If you have questions that you want to ask individually to these ladies, I'm sure they'll stick around for a little bit, and you
Yes.
can touch base with them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you all
you
for
so much.
coming.
Yes.